First, primarily, continuous monitoring is a function of management. Management should own the continuous monitoring process and that routine. And that's both to evaluate how their business is running, to make sure that the controls that it believes it should have in place are actually working as it expects it to. Thereby, on the other side, that continuous auditing is actually a function and a responsibility of internal audit. Reason is because internal audit needs to be independent of its activities that it's auditing, because you can't audit your own controls. So you have to make sure that you're not stepping in the shoes of management. Well, one of the key benefits is that you're able to keep a pulse on the business, understand what are some of the key drivers, what would be some of the flags that the business would want to know about on a real-time basis as they're happening. So this way it would alert the key business owners as to what are the activities that, whether it's a significant risk or maybe it's a breakdown in the control in the business, how you would identify when those things have occurred, so you can actually take corrective action and either correct it or actually make sure for next time identify the root cause and prevent it. Well, I think the first very important thing, if let's say we're first talking about a continuous process, you want to make sure that you've got management commitment. Whether that is instituting a continuous monitoring program as being part of management and being on the same page with management as to what those objectives are and having the commitment, or if you are internal audit looking to institute a continuous auditing approach, by the same token, you want to be able to have the commitment from senior management and then, of course, from the audit committee if you're looking at a continuous auditing approach, and making sure that the objectives are very well set and you have that commitment, and being able to invest in the resources and the technology, because ultimately data analytics, in my view, is really the key as to where any of these continuous monitoring or continuous auditing activities really need to be focused. And by having the core competencies of people that are familiar with the business processes, as well as using these data analytic tools, are really the key drivers for starting success, assuming that you have the commitment from the senior management of the organization. Okay, well, first I would say it's a three-pronged approach to a continuous methodology, in my view, is very key. Having a continuous risk assessment, which identifies what are the key risks to the organization, the key controls, and the key factors that management or the audit function would want to be aware of. So that's the first point, because you want to be evaluating routines that are important to the organization. You want to be focusing your efforts on things that matter to the organization that are key. So having a continuous risk assessment approach will help make sure that you're focusing either your continuous monitoring or your continuous auditing activities on the appropriate topics. Which leads to the second key point, is actually deploying those continuous techniques. Whether you're monitoring or you're auditing, either way, based upon the results of your ongoing risk assessments, making sure that you are deploying these techniques to evaluate the data. What is the data telling us about our processes, our controls? Are they functioning as we had intended? And if not, identifying the root causes, and which then drives us to the third point of this methodology, is a continuous corrective action approach to remediate any controls or processes that warrant any refinement based on what we've learned from our risk assessment and deploying these continuous techniques through analyzing the data. And the beauty of it is, once those controls or those routines have been remediated, once you have a fresh set of data, you should see that now that condition has relieved itself, and you shouldn't see that represent itself if the controls have truly been remediated and you properly identified the root cause.